Hi everyone, I'm Jace.
And I'm Ling.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Freelance Creative Exchange, where we actually invite our freelancers to talk to us about their trade as well as the gig economy.
So today again we are at Mox, a co-working space and a community for creatives to gather, collaborate, share, and even create together. This is their flagship space at Katong Point. Is located in the central, quaint little neighbourhood of Joo Chiat. So if you guys are around here, do drop by. Okay, so if you are a creative-preneur and you have an established brand or you are a hobbyist looking for a place to create your work, come out and check out Mox. We're at 451 Joo Chiat Road.
And today we are very honoured to actually have the two guests with us who actually work out at Mox as well. So if you are here, you can check out their store as well. So I have John sitting next here to me, and I have Ruixian here with me as well. So maybe let them introduce themselves very quickly. John, maybe you go first.
Okay, what I do here at Mox, I have my printmaking studio here, and what I do is I make lino cut prints based off of stories that my daughter tells me.
Oh.
So it's something we do together. And I'm a single dad, widowed, I have a young daughter. So she loves telling me stories. And it's really a lot of how she communicates with me, what she's thinking and such. So she tells me great stories, and then I interpret those into images.
Great.
And do the printing here.
Right, great. Later we'll show you more about what John is referring to, but maybe let Ruixian introduce a bit about yourself as well.
Okay, hello, my name is Ruixian. I'm 25 this year and I'm a dressmaker. So I have my studio here and it's a bit oriental style. So I specialize in cheongsams, but I also do wedding and evening gowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I understand, Ruixian, you used to also be in the fashion industry, but you came from a bridal studio? Am I right?
Several. So after I got my diploma in fashion design, then I started working at a few companies here and there, doing evening gowns, cheongsam, and then eventually I decided to start on my own.
So what was that? What was that starting point? And this question goes to both of you. What was that trigger that made you think okay, maybe there's something here that I can step out on my own and explore starting up my own business?
For me, it kind of started a little bit backwards. So the relief printing was just something that came out of what my daughter and I were doing. And I was just doing it at home, making prints there. I'd go through an entire process, make 3 or 4, and then be done and move on to the next. And so it was when I was getting some good feedback that I was like, well, let me see if I can actually sell some of these. And if I do that, then I need space, and I need a press, and I need. And so then it really became, okay, if you're going to do it, then make some plans and figure it out and get started.
Maybe let us share with our audience what does relief printing means, right?
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So John, would you like to take us through the image that you
I should probably take it out of here because it's a little shiny.
Yeah.
So I brought a few of the small prints that I've made. So relief printing is just you're taking a surface that has a relief. It's got a design carved into it or whatnot, rolling ink on it, and then transferring that ink to paper. And so usually it's one color. If you think of Japanese woodblock printing, maybe more colors and such.
Right.
And so what I've done, what I do is, like I said, it's my daughter's stories, and so to try and capture these. And she's 7. She was 4 when we started doing this. And so this is an example of one. One was she had a big My Little Pony thing going at the time. And Equestria Girls, where all the ponies are girls and all that. And I don't know why, but my daughter Isabel, she decided she wanted to fight Twilight Sparkle. And so she's in a battle with Twilight Sparkle and has cut her arm off with the Sword of Justice. And it's got this kind of, I brought in this samurai movie poster kind of thing. And alongside our dog Tatsu down here. So it's, I don't know why that was, but...
And is this both of you?
This is, well, it's her story is, this is, well, she let me do that first one so long as I did this one. Where she teamed up with Twilight Sparkle after giving her back her bionic arm to defeat Sunset Shimmer and her army of zombies to free our dog Tatsu from the bubble of doom.
Oh my goodness.
So this is redemption tends to be a theme of hers, and she had just come back from exhibit at the Art Science Museum on robotics. And so that's why the bionic arm came into play and all that. So it's kind of her. Who am I to judge? These are her stories. I just try and interpret them. And
so how do you do it together with her?
So
is she like your partner?
So she comes up with the stories. So it could be a story, it could be an idea, it could be a phrase. I don't know where it's coming from. And it's a lot of, she's constantly got something. So I'm writing them all down all the time, and I never know where any of them are going to go. So I need to write them down. And then I'll start asking questions. Why this? Why that? Where's this happening? And how's the design of this and such? So I start asking some questions. Say, okay, I get some ideas. And then I'll sketch out a concept, share it to her. What do you think? Okay, well, I think, okay, that's right, okay. And then I go back and develop out some more details and some layouts, and she'll come back and say, I don't know about this colors, maybe this color palette, maybe this is what's happening and all that. Great, okay, get her sign off, and then I get to work.
So this is actually very interesting. So at what point in time do you decided to convert this from a hobby to a business?
I was enjoying doing it, and we were both enjoying doing it. My daughter loves to see then, the stories she told me and all the questions along the way, and then to see it come out. And
your daughter is your boss, basically.
well, I think that's probably true in any family. She's very much my art director. I run things past her because it's the point is that it's an interpretation of her story.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that that when she looks at it, she goes, yes, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was talking about. Instead of running off on my own direction.
So just how accurate are you with your first drafts?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. No, so it'll be a rough sketch for a concept that I can do in a minute or something like that. At least is this the direction to go? And then once I start getting in layouts, and then I can't draw. So it's a lot of tracing, and I'm taking reference images, and I'm building up layouts. And so then by the time I get to a final design, it's like, what do you think? Hopefully she's not going to want to change it too much. But so then, then she says, okay, go ahead, go. No, it's all right. So, but she loves it. And so very happy with that.
Right. So at what point in time have you decided that, okay, this can turn from a hobby to a business?
Okay. Well, I was taking time off from work. It was an opportunity to spend more time with my daughter. Mm-hmm. And so took time off and doing this at home, and then we just kind of got into doing this. And then after doing several, and I was, wait a minute, I like doing this, and then sharing them and around and getting some good feedback, and I was like, well, let me see if I can actually sell something I can make something, because I didn't see really anything going on. It's one thing about Singapore. There's not a huge art market or a huge culture scene. So it's like, well, let me see if I can do something. Why not? There's got to be a chance to do something. So that's really kind of why not.
Right. That's a nice story. How about you, Ruixian? What's your story? How do you start to have this idea of making cheongsam, and getting a shop to get it running?
Yeah, starting out on your own.
So from the very beginning, like when I joined a fashion course, I already told myself I wanted to start up a brand, but I didn't really have an idea what I wanted to do. So when I first joined the fashion course, I already knew I wanted to start up a shop and set up my own brand, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do then. So I thought to myself, okay, I will just work and get some experience. So after working for a while, then I got the hang of making gowns and cheongsams. So then I will say, okay, I'll wait for myself to get ready, to get more experience. But then it was still a point where I just stopped and then I asked myself, when will I ever be ready actually? So then I said, okay, it's now or never. Then I just quit my job and started this.
So is your parents horrified when they hear that you're quitting your job to actually do this? Or what's their reaction?
They are very traditional parents so they don't really express much of their emotions, just okay do what you want to do And they were very supportive, so I actually named my brand after them. after my parents. 辉煌 means actually mighty, and 方针 is fabric and needle, but Huang is my dad's name and Fang is my mom's name. Yeah, so like I put them together.
Wow, they're very powerful.
Yeah, but when I show them like, check out my logo, this is the name of my company, they took quite some time to register lah. They didn't even realize that it was their name until I told them, actually, it's your name. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, inside lah.
Yeah,
Just don't say out.
in their heart, they were like, oh my god. But just out on the surface.
Yeah.
But so how has the journey been going for you? For example, maybe John, how do you get your first clients, the first person who pay you for what you like?
That's going to be a really good question. Since April has been just really getting everything ready. So it's been getting in equipment, getting in a press.
Maybe would you like to share with us, right? Since you started doing this, how do you actually go and get your first paying client for your hobby?
Okay, it's really going to be, I can let you know when I find out. So since I started here in April, it's been just a ramping up from the start. So it took me a couple of months to get my press in from Australia and start getting all the other equipment in. And so by the time, I think it was about July, I could start actually printing and going back and printing up a basic inventory of all of the prints I had done before, which is about 12 or 14 different prints. And I think just to at least get a basic inventory, and it's going to be very calm and I don't know what to do after that.
Oh yeah, since the work is done,
Yeah.
right? Basically.
No, after that even more, right? You need to
Yes.
go
Now-
out
now I
and
have
tell
to-
people. Right?
Yeah, it might be this is where
That's the real hard part.
Yes. How about yourself, Ruixian?
Yeah, so for you, right, in order to get a shop, I think previously you might have been doing it in your own, in the
I was
company,
doing it
right?
At home.
Oh yeah, at home.
So after I quit, and I started at home for about 2 months.
Wow,
So I
then
got this space in September.
so when did you or how did you decide, or was it your parents who decided that you had to get a separate space for you to start making your dresses and your clothes?
It was a kind of an opportunity kind of thing because I have my best friends working here. So she was telling me that, this space is opening up, and like I was keen to take up the space. And I thought, because previously I've been here and I saw that it's quite a cool community. So then I came out to take a look, but now I have to factor in the rental into my costing and all, right? So I just took a leap of faith lah. Just say, okay, do it.
So
And, yeah lor.
and no turning back since then.
Yeah, no. I was happy that I did it, and my friends were very supportive. They were like, okay, no, you should go for it. You shouldn't be scared. Just do it.
So
Yeah.
have both of you found a difference in having your own space and actually, coming to work every day instead of just wake up at home and then let's start doing something? Is there a real difference from those two locations? It's a location thing. Yeah.
It's a very big difference actually, because when you wake up, you just do work in your pajamas, and then there is no start and stop. Okay, I'm gonna start now, and then after that tea break. So it's a bit mixed up lah, the timing.
Yeah.
But when I have my own space, I work here and I don't work at home. So there's
a space
Yeah.
differentiation, right?
Yeah.
How about for yourself, John?
Well, my day is going to start at 7 o'clock or earlier no matter what. I still have to get my daughter up and get her ready for school.
Yeah.
And if my dog's going to get me up when the sun comes up, so I have no choice. There's no sleeping late. So get up, get everybody, get her ready, get her off to school. And I like having a place to go to, that's where the work is done, because it's one, it gives you some meaning and purpose to get up and go somewhere. And it's also an example for my daughter that this is what you do. You go somewhere and you do something, and that is the place you go to, so that she sees that is the right thing to do. So it serves a few purposes and keeps me out of the house.
So, Ruixian, there are so many fashion stores around. You know, you walk into a mall, there are dozens of different shops selling clothes. So how do you carve out a niche for yourself in such a saturated market?
Actually, from the start, I always like the process of the ideation to the actual garment. So for me here, I do everything from scratch by myself, like from the designing to the drafting, cutting, and sewing, even the finishing touches like the hand sewing, the buttons and all. So I always like that process. So I think that's what set myself apart from other people. Yeah.
So does it, I guess that's the thing that we have to ask, right? Is because especially for handicraft items, there's always, most of the time, there's a slightly higher price tag to
Correct.
a lot of the things, the end products. You know, a lot of people, especially with this consumerism that's going on nowadays across the world, say, you can buy it online, so much cheaper. So how do you educate your clients or your buyers to know that, hey, you know, this is handmade, this has my blood and sweat and tears inside here, this is how much value you is in this particular product? Is there a certain way you guys go about it?
For dressmaking especially, it's quite as in when you hear people talk about it, you already know that it's quite a lot of work. So I don't really have to educate and explain to people, actually it's a very hard work and so on. So, and I always also tell them like you cannot compare something that is made to measure to something that's mass produced. The pricing is, of course, it will be different. Yeah. So thankfully the clients that I have, they all understand this painstaking process lah. Yeah.
So who is your, I'm just curious, who is your first paying client, for example?
Oh, my first paying client. She made a very big impact on me because she was the one who told me that she was the first to appreciate my craft and tell me to go ahead and do what I like to do. So she's I did her wedding gown and evening gown. It's like a whole package lah, wedding gown, evening gown, and also her cheongsam. Yeah.
So that was a huge boost in your confidence.
And she recommended me to a lot of her friends, so I'm very thankful for that.
So how does she come by? Is she someone that you have to spend many months to cultivate her, to take out the package from you, or she is a friend that you already know?
She was a friend's sister, so she just came in and said, okay, I'm gonna do a gown with you, 2 gowns actually. I'm like, oh okay. Actually, I was that time I was quite scared lah because I don't have much experience in doing everything myself. Then I said, are you sure or not? I'm still not very good yet. And she said, no, just do it. I trust you. Yeah. So we need more of these people.
How about John for yourself? Because I think the craft that you're doing is something that is actually quite special in that sense, right? So do you see who are your potential competitors in that sense?
I don't think competitors. It's not like there's I'm not selling shampoo in the marketplace, so it's not I'm going up against somebody or whatnot. It's more entering into a marketplace of ideas and, so I think the biggest thing is being able to tell the story. Because I think if you're looking at art in the art market, it is a lot of what's the story behind it, what's the context. So if you just see it, you go, so, okay, it's nice. But it's a combination of what goes into making it, what's the process that going into it, how many hours are going into it, but what's the story about why? And so I think that's what you're buying is the story and the context, and that this is something between a daughter and a father as a way to communicate with one another and through tragedy and rebirth and it's all of that story is what you're getting out of it. And so it's my job to help communicate that. I don't think you can't oversaturate the market with great stories.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's just up to me then to be able to tell the story right and get the story out there.
So from the storytelling, I understand, John, that you used to be in the advertising business. Right. Has that helped a lot in your business? I know it's still rather new. Maybe you haven't started yet.
It has. I was in account services, and so I worked with clients at all levels. I'm doing project management. I'm doing ideation. I'm working with the creative department. I'm writing creative briefs and such. So it's my work had me it was very holistic in how you approach your project. and think about how, where's my design idea coming from? What am I trying to communicate? How am I going to be carrying this through and executing it the way I want to go with it? So it's helped me a lot in planning all of that out, understanding creative concepting and layout and execution. And it's kind of my opportunity I wasn't a creative. Now I might be the one who was writing the creative brief and saying, here's the objective, here's the proposition, here's the direction I want, here's your insights. And so now it's my opportunity to say, here's the concept, here's the execution, here's how it should be.
Yeah, it's your turn to actually get your hands dirty and start doing it yourself.
Exactly.
So I was just wondering, right, as small business owner like us here, right, so probably one of the easiest marketing platform to consider probably is social media. So do you all use social media in promoting your work?
So I launched an Instagram page, which for me I think made sense, the most sense as a platform. Because I have a very visual based offering. Instagram's going to be the best platform for it, not Facebook. It's just not, you got to match the platform for what you're trying to do and what you have. So I've had my Instagram page for several months now. So as I get new pieces that have been printed up or things about the studios and all that, then I can at least get those up there and start getting the word around.
What were some of the financial or other practical considerations that you guys had when you guys decided to come out to own your own space or own your own business? Because for you, John, right, you've had the space, but you have been, the past year has just been production and not actually actively selling anything, For Ruixian, for you, it's a lot of, your production cost has suddenly gone up. And so do you have a 6-month plan, 1-month plan? This is for the people who are thinking, I can do a hobby, I can do a craft. Is it time for me to step out? Should I be thinking of stepping out? What do you have to think about?
So before I made the change from it's a hobby I do at home to let me see if I can make a business out of it. So before sourcing an etching press and getting it shipped in and those sorts of things, I sat down and said, okay, what are my capital investment costs going to be? What are bills have to get paid eventually. So, and you just look at the basic economics. What could I actually produce? And, what's my capacity for production? What can I be looking at a maximum, best case scenario? How much am I going to be bringing in? And does that make my nut? And so, that's really just kind of very black and white at that point. It's if it's at its best, it's going to pay a third of your bills. You go, well, let's keep this in Hobbyland. So, but taking a look at it and saying, okay, if things go right, if things grow, if it's, if I can take a year and say, okay, in a year, I'm going to get an idea whether this may work and it's something that I can continue doing and continue growing, or it's like this just isn't going to happen. Then I can say, well, you know what? I had a couple of years. I was able to pursue starting a business, creating my own thing, making something happen. If it didn't work, well, it's at least I tried.
Yeah.
So that's this. You got to take a look at a lot of numbers and say what can actually be done.
Same for me. I sort of gave myself a timeline saying that I have to by 1 year what I have achieved, and if this can carry on for like the rest of my life, that kind. Yeah.
So you guys did have a timeline or deadline in that sense?
Yeah, I did. So mine was a 1 year cutoff point.
Okay.
So do you think that your past working experience actually helped you in shaping your company direction right now at this moment in time? Your experiences and your connection from the past, does it actually help you in terms of starting out your business?
It helps me understand business and what you need to do. You need to make something at a reasonable cost, at a desired level of quality. You need to sell it, you need to market it, you need to deliver it. So I worked in advertising, which was very process driven product development and production in-house and working with clients and such. Before that, I had a very operational type job working in packaging and food industry. And so a lot of broad experience across different industries and understanding what needs to be done. And then, so this is an opportunity to kind of break that down and say, okay, what do I need to do? And what can I not do? And to make the best out of it.
Yeah. Recent
For me, because I worked for like three bosses, so I sort of like learn from their experience also, like what is good for business and what is not, and also balancing out with the creative aspect, or like what people can accept and what people don't like. Yeah.
So given a choice, right, this is the question for the freelancers or the very young ones who maybe have just graduated and are thinking of stepping out straight away into freelancing or the gig economy. Would you, at that point of time, if you had a choice, come out directly into starting your own business?
No.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
No.
There was a direct, like, no considerations at all.
So it's still important to acquire the working experience first before you do pursue your dreams in a sense.
I think so. Working experience is more than just I've done my time and I work for a corporation. Now I've been there long enough to be sick of it. And now I want to do my own thing. It's working for a company is a great opportunity to learn how business should be done, how business should not be done.
Yeah. So John, just want to understand from you a bit as well, because since you were in China for a while before you moved to Singapore, with your experience as exposure to the, I would say, marketplace in the different countries. So do you think Singapore is a good place to start your business?
It's a fantastic place. Singapore's, from a business point of view, I think Singapore is very open to starting a new business. It's very easy. It's very inexpensive. You want a business? Sure. In a day, you've got a business.
Yeah.
And there's very little interference. Mm-hmm. And you just need to do what you need to do and off with you. So that's not a problem. I think, some of the challenges are because it's so built up and there aren't the, say, cheap industrial areas to go to. It's like, I got some loft on the edge of the city that's decrepit, but that's fine. That's all I need. Singapore doesn't have that. So, but that's one great thing about MOCs, relatively so, is versus getting someplace in the city or closer to the city, it's going to cost a bomb. But I think Singapore, because it's such a regional hub and becoming very much a global hub, you get a wide variety of people coming through from all over, and so it's not just influences that come through. It's a marketplace that's coming to you. So I think Singapore is a fantastic place to be able to start a business.
How about in terms from a craft industry perspective, right? Because I think for Singapore, we are relatively still very much, or people see us as a business hub,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when it comes to creativity, when it comes to craft, arts, I think that is something that usually people doesn't associate. Yeah, doesn't
Right.
associate Singapore too, right?
Yeah.
But you are starting a craft-based business here.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the market itself has actually kind of restricted you in any way, or actually you are looking forward to actually help Singapore to actually grow the industry?
I think more the latter. You could say, if you looked at, say, a Miami or a Los Angeles and you say, these are big creative hubs and there's so much going on, but it's also incredibly saturated. So how do you break through?
Yeah.
So whereas Singapore, it's almost virgin territory in that way. So it's an opportunity to, I don't see a lot of relief printing going on within what's going on. There's people who paint, there's people who do whatever. So it's an opportunity to come out and say, take a look, here's what I've got, and it's different. And so I think it may be actually giving me an opportunity because there isn't much going on out there. Singapore's not big; it's manageable. It's very reasonable. So so I think it's a great place here to start from.
I think for you as a Ruixian, right? I don't know whether it's the reason that you chose to make qipao, but it is. I think it's Singapore is a place where there's that very nice mix, at least to me, because I grew up here. I guess there's this nice balance between the east and the west, and having that space to inject your own culture into whatever you do, but bring it onto a global scale. Do you find that working for you a lot in what you do?
Yeah, actually, I used to think that Singaporeans are not very receptive of like artistic and very like fashionable stuff. But actually, there are increasingly a lot of people who appreciate art and appreciate craft, and they are willing to pay lah. So for me, also because of my personal style, I like to mix the cultural, like a traditional piece into something more modern so that people can wear it every day. So actually you don't actually pay the price for just something one-off that you just wear for a formal occasion, but also it can last you for quite a number of years, and also you can wear it more often, more versatile.
That's right, that's why I like about fashion.
Yeah.
Very personal choice. But speaking about all these challenges, you know, what do you think is the largest challenge for yourself, and what do you see for the industry? What's the largest challenge that you have into your maker space or your creator space that you guys see?
For me, I think my greatest challenge is time management, because I do everything by myself, right? It's a one-man show, so like from your social media and then like from getting clients in, everything is a lot of time. So it's like, I mean, if you want to step into this craft scene, or you want to be your own boss, I think you have to be prepared to give up a lot of your time to it lah. Yeah.
True.
And also give up sleep sometimes.
Yeah. How about you, John? What's the greatest challenge?
I think for me, it's finding the market, and it's making art very different from marketing art, the business of it. So it's going to be finding that market, whether it's here in Singapore or in the region. Which again is another great thing. Singapore is very well located, so but to be able to reach out into the region. So I think it's the business side. I'm fortunate. My daughter, I've got about 50 or 60 stories. It's written down to go so far. So I'm not going to run out anytime soon of material.
Right.
So how do you see yourself in 5 years' time, right? You know, do you foresee that you'll be continuing as a solopreneur for the next 5 years to come, or do you actually think that, you know, at some point in time, you know, you were growing the business, you were hiring, you know, more people to help you out?
I haven't really actually thought about it.
John, have you thought about this?
Yeah, what have you-
Well, if I make it to 1 year and
Right.
say yes to keep going, okay, then that's always a great start. How would I define success? That would mean then you go to year 2 and 3 and 5. I want to be able to keep telling my daughter's stories. That's kind of the whole purpose behind it. So I don't see, well, I'm giving that up so I can go do something else within the whole piece. That still needs to be the main thrust. I would like to be able to do, merchandising, stuff. I mean, my daughter's stories are very character driven. She's absolutely adorable herself. You can see. She's so good.
Perfect.
So, I'm looking at, you know, if it's very good quality, made not cheap plastic, turned out in a factory kind of thing. But if it's, you know, if there's handmade stuffed animals or something that's got something that's got some quality behind how it's manufactured.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like to be able to do if it gives me an opportunity to extend the storytelling.
I was just thinking about this, where Mox is this community where there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of space for all of you guys to start collaborating.
It's a very good hub for collaboration. So actually I'm collaborating with Lin. Jewelry, wooden jewelry maker for our Hari Raya collection. So actually, me and my other Muslim friend, so we are starting this collaboration for Hari Raya to make cheongsams more wearable for Muslims, especially for Chinese converts, because I think they have a problem looking for a cheongsam that they can wear, because cheongsam usually quite like figure hugging, otherwise it's like short sleeve. So we're trying to make cheongsam more wearable for this group of people. As in, not only targeted to them, but we hope that other people can also appreciate this collection. So we're getting on board with Lin to do the jewelries, and also Chloe, his
Studio made.
studio made to do the
Check from
bags.
someone's
Yeah.
made.
That's very exciting. I think I saw some of your, Lynn was making some of your buttons as well, right? Of your current, is it Lynn? Some wooden buttons.
But this is really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing. So we have come to almost the end of our discussion, right? I'm sure the audiences has picked out a tips or two from you all how to run their business. But before we end the session, we will pose one last question to you, which is the same question that we pose to every one of our guests, which is if there's one piece of advice that you can give to your younger self, what would that be? I mean, you can take a moment to think about it. Don't have to rush to answer us. But if there's just this one piece of advice that you give to your younger self, what would that be?
Just do it. It's like picking up opportunities that come along the way lah. So these opportunities eventually built up to something like what I have here, because it was through jobs and then through clients. It slowly built up to what I have now, and I just hope that this continues, and then I will grow better as a craftsman and as a businesswoman. Yeah.
Great. John, how about yourself?
I think it's going to be very opportunity focused as well, where, if you're going to work somewhere, what's the opportunity? What are you getting out of it? Work your hardest at it, do a fair job, but what are you doing next? What's the next opportunity? What's the next thing for you to learn? And there's no point if you're not learning anything, and there's no point sticking around. So I think it's you need to be looking at what are you getting out of that opportunity? What are you learning? So work hard in every job, give it your all, do your best, but always keep in mind, what am I learning out of this? What am I getting out of it? And what's the next opportunity to add on to you?
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's
Always
very
keep your
well
eyes
said.
open for
Yeah.
the next thing.
Yeah, especially for young people as well. Right. All right. Thank you so much for the time. Right. Thank you to our audience as well for tuning in another episode of our Freelance Creative Exchange.
Yeah, so if you like this episode, please click on the like button, as well as if you have any questions for any one of us, especially for John and for Ruixian, please comment in the comment section below. But we will see you then at the next episode. So if you want to find out when it comes out, please hit that subscribe button as well.
So until then, have an awesome week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.